Welcome back, aviators. Today we're going to talk about flying a traffic pattern here at L35 or Big Bear City Airport. We have Microsoft Flight Simulator footage as well as some real world footage for you on this video today. So let's go over the important things of Big Bear. Just looking here at the VFR chart. First thing, that is elevation. This airport's at 6,700 feet. So that means the traffic pattern is going to be around 7,700 feet. Or I'm going to use 7,800 today just to kind of round up a bit. So you can see that there is a right traffic pattern for runway 8, which means a left traffic pattern for runway 26. That's because these mountains are a lot closer to the airport here, so we're going to stay always on this side, making a square like this around the airport. For runway 26, we're going to take off. We're going to come over the lake. As you can see here, there's kind of a small mountain here, where there's a valley through here, which then goes up the mountain where the ski lifts are and everything. So as we fly our upwind leg, we're going to make sure that to avoid the terrain right here at this mountain, we're then going to turn our crosswind and then our downwind, and then we're going to wait until we pass a school that's around this area and to turn our base leg. It's right in front of another mountain chain here, so we'll see a school and then a mountain here. So we'll turn our base here, and we'll be on a little bit of an extended downwind for runway 26. So we're just going to manage our power as we descend into runway 26. Now you'll see in the video, both videos, that the real and the simulator footage, that we're going to stay a little high and a little fast for this because there is lots of mountain turbulence in this airport. It's going to kick you around a lot. So it's better to use less flaps and come in a little high and a little fast. A little fast because that's going to help you with controllability for any turbulence that you have, and a little high because if you do lose altitude, it's going to be a lot harder to regain that altitude than it is to lose it. So we're going to make sure to manage our power all the way to the ground. Some of the other important features to note are the runway lengths. We can see runway 26 is 5,800 feet, so quite a long runway. And even though it's a long runway, we're going to make sure to do our high altitude takeoff procedures for this airport. Also to simulate if you're coming up here to ski with a bunch of people and you have a heavily loaded down plane. Cool, so let's hop into the video.
So go ahead and make a call, say taxi down to runway 26 for left closed traffic.
Big Bear traffic, Cessna 50 Delta, turning on to runway 26 for left closed traffic. Big Bear traffic.
Yeah, all right, cool. I'm reaching up, go and come forward. Cool. So high altitude takeoff, get as much of that fucking runway as possible. So yeah, I go right as far to the right as I can. And you'll see me when I fly in NASDAQ or whatever with my friends in Montgomery, I still do that.
Oh yeah.
Runway is life, brother.
It's free.
It's free runway.
Take it if you can get
it. So come to the left here now, and then point the nose down the runway there. Boom, right there. So cool. Now what you're gonna do, go up to full rich.
Okay.
Go to full flight power. Now bring that red handle back. Bring it pretty far back until, yep, right about there. We should see a drop in RPM. Keep bringing it back. There we go. So that's too far. So right about there.
13.5.
About 2,300 RPM is what you want. Right, that's the peak. Right about there. Boom. There's your peak. Release the brakes and go. His speed a lot of fucking right rudder.
Yeah.
A lot of it. So did you hear? It's important to see where the peak was and where it started to go down, which is right around 2,300. Then you screw it back in. Keep that nose down. You don't want this thing to pop up. Once that nose pops up, that's induced drag. Climb into dive away. There we go. That's going to help you out. So see how she's slowly spooling up here?
Yeah.
It's because it's anemic up here. She don't want to go. So right about there, that's about your rotation speed. Let it go a little bit further even.
Yeah.
So right about there. And here, now you can lift off. But let's stay in that ground effect. Go ahead and lift off now. Stay in the ground effect, right about here. Now it's really smooth control inputs right here. Stay in the ground effect. It's free performance. There's at least VY. Oil pressure's looking good. There's VY. We're out of runway remaining to abort. So now it's climb out. 75 knots. There we go. It's important not to just pull right back to VX, because if you do that, you just lost all that precious airspeed you were just working so hard for. To hold that 75, maybe even 80 knots. Whatever it'll give you to, get away from the ground.
I like it.
There we go. Very important though. So in that ground effect there, it's important you stay in ground effect, but it's also important you don't lawn dart the ground. So it's really smooth inputs once you're close to that runway.
Big Bear traffic, Cessna 50 Delta, turning left crosswind, runway 26, Big Bear traffic.
Watch that airspeed. If we have to use up more of the lake, so be it. But we just want to Don't want to cook the engines. There, yeah, they're looking happy. There we go, we can start making that left crosswind as long as, so here's another thing, before you make a turn, when we make a turn, we lose some of that vertical component of lift.
Right.
So if you look at the terrain and we're barely high enough to make the turn, don't make the turn yet.
Okay.
Because when you're making a turn, you're losing vertical component of lift. That's how a lot of guys get themselves in trouble when they're making the right crosswind departure on runway 8 here, the opposite direction. Yep, because you got rising terrain. They make the turn too soon. They're like, oh, we lost our ability to climb because you lose vertical component of lift. And boom, there's a mountain.
Big Bear traffic, Cessna 50 Delta turning left downwind, runway 26, Big Bear traffic.
Good job, and just stay clear of these humps so it doesn't cheat, right? And like I said, like today, only 2 dudes in a plane, we burned off fuel, not too much of a factor. But if you flew up here with, 3 people, okay, now we're starting to be a heavy airplane.
Oh yeah, dude. Wow, I've never seen those houses up close.
Yeah, right?
That's unbelievable. All right.
Keep that climb in, coming up to 7.7. Poor Big Bear. She did get snow though. If you look at San Gorgonio, she got snow up at like the 9,000, 10,000 foot level up there. Good job, and I like seeing your hand on the power.
Oh yeah.
There you go, cheat right, just so we don't hit that high school.
Oh, okay.
Pretty much a TPA.
So it's kind of line up with that road down there.
Yeah. Actually, I failed to mention that to you. That actually makes a really good downwind marker. And you can bring the power back just a little bit so we don't too fast torque this thing. Yep. Cool, another normal landing. So what I do is I don't even pull the power back until I'm beyond the high school, because the lower you get out here, once you commit to descending out here,
You're coming down.
you're coming down, dude. If the engine dies, you're committed to this out here. If I stay up, like I like to stay up at altitude, and then matter of fact, yeah, just keep the altitude, you don't even have to descend quite yet. I will stay up high, and then on my base, I make a more steep descent. So a lot of the rules, a lot of the stuff you learn in private pilot or back at home field, that's great, but you're also at sea level. Out here, you're power limited.
Yeah.
So that being said, altitude is insurance, right? Airspeed is life, altitude. So I like to stay higher out here and make your base turn now. And then you can always remove power or slip, but you can't get it back if the engine dies. So I like to stay nice and high out here.
Big Bear traffic, Cessna 50 Delta turning left on base, runway 26, Big Bear traffic.
When you're in the mountains, single engine, or even dual engine for that matter, you got to be thinking, what would, worst case scenario, what if I lost both my engines or one engine, that kind of shit. So now is when you can pull the power back with the carb heat on, out of those flaps, because now we have enough energy in the form of altitude, right, to potentially at least glide to the airport, maybe from here.
Big Bear traffic, Cessna 50 Delta turning final, runway 26, Big Bear traffic.
Quite fast, so let's bring the power out now. Like I said, it's going to be a power drop. There we go, good. This is classic mountain turbulence, man. If you're gonna be a mountain pilot, you gotta get used to it.
Yeah.
There we go. So quite a steep descent. Look at that, 1,000 foot per minute. So bring the nose back, man. We're going really fast. Yeah, there. Don't want to see 1,000 foot per minute on final. There, trim it in if you have to. So let go of the yoke right now. Let's see what happens. Oh, you have it trimmed in. Good job. Good. You can use 10 some flaps here. We haven't used any yet.
All about 10.
So don't forget don't forget that kind of stuff. Yeah, 10 or 20. I wouldn't recommend all the way to 30.
Yeah.
Don't really need it. There we go. Good. So staying nice and above these trees here. Altitude is life, insurance. And once we clear the trees, then you can start wiggling the power back. And I like how you're fast. That's fine. We can dissipate that quite quickly.
All right, over the tree.
Clear the trees. Pull the power back. Yep. And then you can even come to idle at this point.
Yeah, we're
and you just walk it in. There we go. A little bit of left rudder, right aileron. There. Look all the way down the runway. Beautiful job. There you go. Beautiful job. Nice. A little bit of drift. Nice. Keep that aileron input in. All the way down. There you go.
Oh, okay.
Because remember,
Right.
the ailerons become less effective, so we have to keep turning the ailerons into the wind. There we go, good. Now we can probably make echo. You can use some elevator braking too to help with the slow down there. There we go. Good.
All right. Nice.
Cool, so it's the same thing. On this one, I'm gonna do the rejected takeoff for you. So I'll have the power, and all I want you to do is rotate at like 55 knots, and then I'm gonna simulate what it feels like, clear right, and then you do your post landings.
Big Bear traffic, Cessna 50 Delta clear runway 26, taxiing back runway 26, Big Bear traffic.
Good. Once you rotate, I'm gonna simulate what it feels like to get in the air and be like, oh fuck, we don't have enough lift because we're at max gross weight or because density altitudes are really fucking high.
Okay.
Numerous reasons, right? But what you have to know how to do is, hey, we got airborne.
Okay, let's go ahead and get set for a high altitude takeoff. First thing we're going to do is any takeoff, we're going to go ahead and get our heading bug set. So this is runway 26, so let's go ahead and put the heading bug on 26. We can use this to track to make sure we're making nice square traffic patterns. Okay, let's go ahead and turn the GPS over to terrain mode since we're in the mountains just to be safe. Let's ensure flaps are up. We don't want any extra induced drag on this takeoff. So we're going to first find our mixture setting that we need for this takeoff at a higher elevation where the air is thinner by going full mixture, full throttle. We can see that's going to put us at about 2,000 RPM. Now to find our mixture setting, we're going to pull back the mixture until we see the RPMs rise up. So we're getting to 22, almost 23. It's probably going to be peak power right there. We keep pulling, the RPMs drop, so we know we overdid it. So screw it back in till we get back to 23. Now we have our mixture setting. We're good to go. Release the brakes. And we're going to rotate at a little bit faster airspeed. So instead of 55, we're going to rotate around maybe 60 or 70. See, our carb heat's in, we're off the brakes. We're slowly building speed. Alright, there's our rotation speed. We're going to hold off and pull right there. Now we're going to stay in ground effect. We're going to build that airspeed up. And then we're about 80. So now we'll start our climb at about 200 feet a minute. We'll do a nice shallow climb just to continue to build airspeed. Even though this is a real shallow climb, it's going to keep our airspeed up, and it's going to be just fine to gradually get to our TPA, which is 7,800 feet. So here at Big Bear, there's a little mountain to our left, so we want to wait to make our crosswind until we pass it. You can see it right there. So it's a little bit of extended upwind leg. We'll go ahead and make our call. Big Bear traffic, Cessna 3 Delta Kilo, turning left crosswind, runway 26, Big Bear traffic. Okay, now we can watch our little heading bug swing around. When we are at 90 degrees, we'll know we'll be on a nice square crosswind, and it's pretty much looking straight at Snow Summit, the ski resort right in front of us that has no snow on it right now. So we can see we passed the mountain over there, so we'll go ahead and make our downwind leg. Big Bear traffic, Cessna 3 Delta Kilo, turning left downwind, runway 26, Big Bear traffic. We're done with this. The little heading bug should be directly 180 from us. We have good vertical airspeed. Our airspeed is good. And we're still climbing. About 300 feet to go. Alright, there's our downwind leg. So just to our right is the ski resorts, Big Bear and Snow Summit. And just to our left is the airport, as it should be. You can see our terrain mode has gone to yellow, just showing that we are, I think yellow means about 100 feet above terrain. If you look real close, you can see what the legend is. Alright, so we're looking ahead of us for a school. There's a school up ahead which kind of marks where you want to wait to turn your base leg. You want to wait and turn your base leg till after the school. So we're going to look for that. It's going to give us a little bit of an extended downwind, so I don't even like to adjust the power yet. We're going to wait till we turn our base leg, and then we'll pull carb heat, and then we'll go ahead and reduce power and turn base. But that's okay. We want to keep our airspeed high here and our elevation a little bit higher than normal from your sea level airports, because if you lose altitude out here and you have to gain it back, it's going to be a lot harder. So higher is better. Alright, there's a school right there. So as we cross it, we'll go ahead and turn our base leg. So carb heat, reduce power. Big Bear traffic, Cessna 3 Delta Kilo, turning base, runway 26, Big Bear traffic. Now we're only going to use about 20 degrees of flaps here. That just to reduce the induced drag, and there's a lot of mountain turbulence and winds up here. So we're going to be coming in a little high and a little fast, but it's safer for mountain operations. Big Bear traffic, Cessna 3 Delta Kilo, turning final runway 26, Big Bear traffic. Alright, there we go. You can see by the pappies we're still a little high, which is good. And we're descending here. We don't want to drop too fast. Keep it about 500 feet per minute. Our airspeed's good, still at 80. I keep that high, add a little bit of throttle if we need to. Flaps are at 20. That's all we're going to use. We're just going to keep adjusting the power here to stay above these trees. Once we're past this tree line here, we can go power idle and glide it in. So about 300 feet above the ground, a little high, but that's okay. And we'll go power idle and let it sink on in. Now, so we're really fast right now. We're still at 70 knots, so we have a lot of airspeed to lose, so we're just going to try to get in ground effect and bleed it off. There we go. Using those rudders to stay on center line. Protect the nose. There's the stall horn. And touchdown. Alright. We'll shoot for the next taxiway. That one was a little close. Right, flaps up. Carb heat in. Mixture is already lean for taxi. Landing lights off. Taxi lights on. Once we clear the runway, we'll make our call.